Hi everybody, this is Infected again. Today I'm going to be talking about uh, kind of a ZvP, which is kind of with the Hydraless upgrade, the augmented let's go movements. Roach Hydra has become a very common build, kind of a marine marauder for Zerg. And this game, it kind of just shows uh, like how powerful it can be. It's also a build that can be used against more Terran. However, it's kind of iffy. But one of the biggest weaknesses for Roach Hydra since Wings of Liberty was Colossus, just because Hydra's are light units and they tend to just evaporate really fast. So this game, I go with the Roach Hydra, but one of my biggest assets was the Viper towards the end game. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to speed it up. He does something kind of silly with doing a one base with, sorry, let me change the sounds, it's pretty loud. But he opens up with a one base play into a Stargate opening, and then from there he just expands. It's a little loud, sorry about this. What I do is pretty typical 14 pool into a 15 hatch. See it, it's going for the wall run. Typically, my preference in ZvP is going for the metabolic boost timing, which it just means that if they forward fast expand, I just bait the zealot out and then run my zerglings in and destroy everything he has before any type of pressure can be put on me. But this game, since I saw no expansion, so I move my overlord here. See? So I kind of figured, he's either going to try doing the 4-gate timing or something silly. So I kind of just stick to 2 base, start spreading my creep. Get my gas a little bit earlier, around 40-ish. Got my macro going pretty well. And then as soon as I hit 100 gas, I start my Nomadic Carapace. So right here, he's starting the Oracle. Yeah, it's a pretty standard kind of a one base type. One base into expand pressure. So here I have both my queens kind of just holding on while I get my little spores up. Evolution chambers, just because with the way the game is turning out, him just taking his expansion, yeah, I saw that he was just taking it. I take my third right away, and I'm still spreading my creep, still trying to pressure the oracles, that way they don't try sneaking in, hurting my economy. Alright, so I kind of figured, well, I can't really do anything, so go ranged into armored carapaces, because the reason why I decided to go for that is because with Stargate play, unless they build a Stargate in a stupid or silly spot, there's no way you can actually destroy it, which means that they will always be able to produce like an aerial counter to whatever you have on the ground. So if I ask Ultralists and start pumping on Void Waves while they wait for Immortals. Up here, a lot of Blink, or no Blink yet, but a lot of Stalkers. He has no upgrades other than the Warp Gate. He's got his Observers on the way, which is actually a very good thing. It's Oracle on patrol, but, I mean, I'll probably die soon to the Queen. Yeah. Right here he's moving out. Alright, so all I have for tech right now is roaches and zerglings. Now with the plus one range attack and +1 carapace, I should do okay as soon as I start pumping out some roaches. Not on the Baneling, that's just because Banelings, if you get them in the right spot, they'll take out vital units like the sentries, which are always a pain in the butt for Zerg players. But expanding again, just because I figured he should be pushing out now. Alright. Alright, so right here, can't manage to get a cancel, which is a good thing in Zerg. Alright, so I started moving my swarm hosts. This is something that I've only seen a couple players pull off using swarm hosts really well from like pro replays. And swarm hosts are like a buffer. The original concept of it was to replace the lurker in a more StarCraft 2 fashion rather than brute war. Well, with swarm hosts, all you have to do is avoid the locust, and then the swarm hosts themselves are pretty vulnerable. So with the roach hydra, I want to use them because of the shorter range. Use them to kind of tank all the damage and dish out a lot of the damage too because they benefit from the upgrades. That's the reason why swarm host leans don't work out very well, just because the pathing will block each other out. So one unit is attacking all the time while the other one is. Alright, so this guy didn't do a very good job of doing any type of damage to me. I just managed to scare him over with the swarm host. Alright, so here he's just finally taking. I do have the enduring locust upgrade, so I'm going from here all the way over to here. It's quite a ways. And just the continuous spawns of locusts is always going to make sure that there's always going to be units going to always keep pressure, always keep them at arm's length, so to speak. Alright, so I got my groove spawns on the way. I already have the muscular augments. Here I'm just trying to put pressure, trying to get canceled, but I wasn't microing my links. Alright. This was the scary thing. Since he saw a lot of links, and it's pretty easy to assume with this locust, he went colossus, which is actually a very smart thing. With the crap, what is that upgrade called? Wait. Here we go, extended thermal lance. But that was a lot of stalkers. You do a lot of damage, and also be able to pick off locusts and kite them for hours on end if you really had the patience to. And this right here, this protoss composition is a nightmare against roach hydra. So, and even with swarm hosts, they can out DPS the swarm host or the locust fast enough. So it really just becomes your units die before they really do any damage without slowing them down. So, yep, start producing my Viper. Should have a couple more on the way. And what the plan is for the composition I have is have the swarm host try to initiate or engage against the protoss death ball. There. Keep this on focus on me while I talk about the kind of theory behind it. Like I said, with roach hydra and swarm host plus Viper, you want the swarm host to initiate on the protoss army, or force them to get out of position, force them to come to you as soon as the locusts die. Alright, so at that time, you will have the Vipers abduct all the colossus, all the vital units, so they can be DPS down right away. Now without that type of firing support, there is little that the main gateway army can actually do to help. Just to help kind of burst down the entire army. Alright, so this is the army I have so far. I do kind of have, yeah, 20 advantage, but comparatively it's not the best. Just because Protoss, the not going to say versatility, but the cost effectiveness is outweighs Zerg by miles. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Have the swarm host force the engagement with the Protoss. Force them to kind of come back into the next wave while I have to relocate my army. Or kind of a bigger concave. Right. Then abduct as many colossus as I can into my primary army. Right, this. And then just kind of let the smarter AI of the game kind of just start picking them apart. And another thing is, Watch how fast my my supply keeps plummeting, and how fast I can max out again. So it's always a smart thing between microing to actually re-macro. Alright, I did see the blurs and I realized like I have to take those out, so at some point I should be building overseers. Not sure where they are. Yep, but see, my cost effectiveness here was much better, and I can always re-macro faster than protoss. Just because of the amount of hatcheries I have and my queens constantly injecting. Alright, and I also have 3/3 upgrades, while he only has the 1/1. At this point, it's always about making sure you have the correct engagement, picking apart the army, and then just pushing forward so they don't have advantage, or so they don't have to sit back and turtle out. What I would have liked to do, besides deny expansions, which is why I had my creep spread going so well, try doing some type of economic harass. This is what I'm doing with my swarm host. So basically, Locust, and start trying to pushing this wall right here. I need quite a few cannons, which is a big investment, considering he's only on like 2.5 bases. Yep. Yep, and again, force the army out of position, trying to get them to relocate. I have my army over here, kind of waiting just to kind of flank them. Should be moving real soon. Yep. I was a little slow than I would like to admit, but right here, there's a lot of colossus, but now they all kind of just evaporated. And with blink stalkers against this many hydras, the amount of DPS I can dish out to them is gonna take them down. Yep. And re-macroing, almost maxing out for a while. Alright, since I saw he had that many colossus bro in that short time, kind of figured double robo, which I was right. So I threw out a spiral, that way I can start making corruptors. Because if I constantly rely on the vipers, this is another thing we're trying to break down a turtle protoss, like with direct frontal attacks. Swarm hosts, they won't be able to do enough initial damage to actually kind of create a big enough crack to where you can just like rip open the gates and let all the zerg bugs in. And with vipers, the amount of energy that each spell has is pretty high, because we only have 200 energy. So like a duct is 75, and then the blinding cloud's 100. So, and plus the 3 supply, so it's pretty high cost units, and if you can't do anything with them, it's just weight on your supply. Yep, so I'm doing the same thing again, force them to engage, force them to come to me. I have the flank set up ready. Not as many colossus as the last time, so I mean, roach hydra would just be able to crush through all this. Tried saving them, but it was kind of too late. Should have more swarm holes coming. Yep. And I'm constantly still keeping up my upgrades, just in case I want to tech switch. Yep, some more colossus. Pick them out, take them out. This is kind of a bad engagement on my side, but I have such a large enough bank and plenty of larva, so yeah, I don't need to supply from my corruptors. Because I was hoping to go into Broodlords after this, so Broodlord Corruptor with Swarm Host is actually a pretty good build for like an end game. And another thing is I had trouble with my hotkeys with the army. Because then I started adding corruptors into my hotkey with the Vipers, so when I tell them to A move, the Viper is going to go in instead of staying back, which is a pretty bad waste. Like no gain whatsoever there. Alright, but here he is again. He's going for it. Didn't realize I was that slow. It's kind of sad. Yep, I should have ducked soon, hopefully. Nope. See? They're just going straight to death, but I have the corruptors coming out now. And they do plus damage against massive units. And this is the way how roach hydra should be played out. Swarm host isn't truly a necessary thing. They're very supply heavy with 3 supply per. Let's see. Yep, 3 supply per swarm host. This right here is just 24 supply. My math is right. So I mean, No, 18 supply. Sorry. Shouldn't do that. I'll do this. But with roach hydra, they can decimate all gateway units. So all these gateways, pretty much whatever comes out of them is worthless, except for like maybe lucky DT or high Templar. But the only thing that can actually negate the roach hydra composition is the colossus, which he did a pretty good job of just pumping out. So that's when you make the choice of going either air and then hoping to go into Blue Lord tech, which is still very powerful. I mean, all you have to do is just keep your army underneath the Blue Lords, and nothing protoss can really do with that without investing too much, just trying to break up the composition, and Zerg can always reback go faster. The Swarm Host was just kind of a what-if thing, and I was lucky to actually have him when he was trying to do that little timing push with Stalkers in a couple centuries. So, yeah, that's Roach Hydra game in Zerg versus Protoss. I made quite a few mistakes and my APM wasn't as high as I would like, but I didn't open up with the 3 base because, like I said, I didn't see the expansion. I was kind of expecting cheeky 4 base play, so but I got lucky. His opening build, and then he didn't expand as much as I was expecting. I mean, I said all those things to kind of just burrow, and he didn't do anything with. He didn't try to expand like most Protoss players would do, which is another reason why this game could have gone different in his favor. So if he had, yeah, at the end of the game, he had 220 gas, which isn't even enough for Colossus. So if he, in my opinion, if he went for Archons and High Templar, he would have been able to kind of just wipe out through the army. It's like even Swarm Hosts don't do very good against storms. I think it takes like 2 of them to kind of just kill a Swarm Host. Anything with just massive AoE and does a lot of damage to light units would just melt through whatever I had. And plus with High Templar, you could feed back the Vipers. So I mean, that's one way to go against this build, or one thing to look out for. That's the reason why towards the end you kind of want a tier 3 army to go against that. Just because Psystorm does murder on all Zerg units. At that point, once you kind of just either break the army, instead of trying to go for like a head-on assault, just trying to do a clean sweep from the 3rd base to the natural. What you could do is remax out on Zerglings and have them rally towards different areas of the map. That way, as they're trying to reinforce to hold off whatever the 3rd base or any area that you're pushing against, just move the Zerglings in as a counterattack. That's a faster way to tear apart a Protoss player. Just outmaneuvering them. And then, yeah, so it's a pretty standard game. It's still fun just because it's Vipers. As a spellcaster unit, it's actually quite a bit of fun just picking apart the army. So unless you're that type of player that just like headlongs into each other and like enjoys watching the massive battles and then just splitting your army, this type of build is very good for you. I've seen videos of Jadon when he was live streaming. He would do a really fast Roach Hydra timing push. And then, especially on this map, here I'll show. Right here on this map, he would move his Roach and Hydras right in this area. And it's pretty fast too. It's like in the 15-minute mark that he gets out, like a 150 supply around this time, 150 to 160. Move his Roach Hydras right here, and then just have a couple of Zerglings moving, take up the 3rd base that's being put down. And at that time, they'd only have like 1 robotics bay, unless they open up with kind of a timing attack to help stunt your economy. But this is, yeah, like I said, this is kind of more of a standard play, nothing ultra crazy, ultra fun like I've been trying to broadcast lately, but I'm also put up a video of just kind of a standard play and how to approach it. Alright, thanks for watching. If you like it or have any suggestions for me to make it better or quality is still little off, just let me know. Alright, bye.